idols that are strategically placed in entries and exits. She thrives on 4 or 5 hours of sleep, but now she's decided she needs more, but is too stressed and too anxious and has too many responsibilities to get it. So has started doing something called brain mapping classes, which is gym for the brain, is what I understand. She is by far the most powerful contradiction of terms that you will ever find. And she is one of the people who genuinely doesn't give a damn what you think about her programs or about her. Please put your hands together for the one and only Ekta Kapoor.
Thank you, Koel. Thank you so much. You described me exactly how I am.
Exactly how you are. Wow. So this is something I read very recently, that the best alcohol that was being saved for your grand wedding was recently opened and consumed at your dad's 75th birthday.
Yeah.
What did that moment signify for you?
To me, it was off with the pressure, on with the alcohol. So I was like told every year from, I think I was 16, ki, you know, we're saving these bottles of Blue Label for your wedding. We're only going to serve the best alcohol at your wedding, which means that get married. And for me, it was like, oh my God. And then at my father's 75th birthday, he said, Dek, तू तो शादी करेगी नहीं तो मैं ये use कर लूँ? And I was like, please, let's celebrate life and not something that we think of as pressure.
So Ekta 5.0 version, I would say, because of the amount of generations that you have changed. How is she different from version 1? And what are the features that just refuse to update? And do you still have 3 a.m. meetings where abuse and hard objects fly across the room?
See, that sounded really fun, by the way. Huh? 3 a.m. meetings with abuse and hard objects flying here and there. But it's not so.
This was totally like, this is completely factual.
Actually, see, factual has a lot of connotations. It gets added up with a lot of gossip. But, so I have 3 a.m. meetings even now. They all came back after my son was born because suddenly my mornings were going with him and I require less sleep, so I do a lot of viewings at night. And it's far more peaceful because I'm not multitasking. But as far as there are no flying objects, I was extremely volatile earlier. Now I learned to control it. That's the upgrade actually. And I actually believe that somewhere I think I have detached a bit from the outcome and I have started enjoying the process more, if you know what I mean. So when that happens, you realize that, okay, the outcome, you can't be sitting on a line and expecting everything to become number one. Because if you do, when you fall from the line will eat you. So you rather enjoy the process and sometimes be okay with being number 2. And that'll be fun.
Wow, that's a big evolution for you, right?
And it really freed me a bit.
Okay, so let's just talk numbers for a second, okay? Give me your favorite numbers, your best numbers of the things I'm going to ask you. Subscribers for Alt.
25 million.
25 million, okay? How many number 1 TV shows have you had?
I can't remember that, actually.
Okay, give me like a ballpark
But I've had
figure.
11 shows that have crossed 1,000 episodes.
How many shows do you currently have on air on television?
14.
On digital?
Digital, I have 42.
In development?
97.
Wow. How many films in 2019 have been released and yet to be released?
3 and 1 more is releasing, Dolly Kitty, which is going to Busan, yes.
How many scripts do you read a day?
I read about 9 scripts a day.
Number of employees?
I don't think because there are many who are freelancers, so I don't think I can.
Give me an estimate. Come on, just let us understand what is the universe you occupy.
So I think employees would be more than 1,000, yeah.
1,000 employees?
Yeah, more, like completely. Freelancers would go much, much higher because they have sets, you hire people on per month and they want to be freelancers, yes.
How many rings and stones do you wear, astrological stones?
I wish I had more fingers. Because now I've started wearing 2, 2 and 3, 3 on every finger. And I care a damn what people think. So that's getting worse. My mom's like, you won't have fingers left. So yeah, I wear about 14 rings.
And I believe even your shoes, is this a rumor that your shoes have at one point were blessed as well?
Bless, no, I didn't change them. I'm too much a comfort person.
Achha, it had nothing to do with
no,
some
no, a lot of people
astrological-
thought the conspiracy theories around me are so interesting. I used to be a human, I'm folklore. You know, so I think, they were not blessed, they were just comfortable.
So the numbers that we have just given about her shows, I want this audience to just digest them for a second, because an audience like ours, which is the culturati, the literati, the elite conclavers, these are the audience that you come under a lot of fire from, right?
Yeah.
They are not they think you're the Sas Bahu regressive propagator. Not that you care, you look at your numbers for validation. But how does this criticism from the intelligentsia affect you, and will you ever do anything about it?
So I think I'm one of the most inclusive people on this earth. I actually believe that entertainment means different things for different people, or even art. So it's about what you find. People with very good lives, or should I say slightly more financially stable lives, want to see realism. But for a huge part of our country that finds escapism in art or in cinema, this is their mode of finding some kind of, another world where they want to suspend reality. They do not want reality. And I think the ideological change when you actually view content or cinema or television, when you see it from what the need of the masses is at that time, you realize why certain content does well. I don't expect everyone to understand this, but I really think that I respect the woman in a sari as much as I respect the woman in a swimsuit. So people ask me, you make these regressive shows and, there are women wearing saris and waking up with makeup. I'm like, that could be really lack of aesthetics, but how's that regressive? I mean, these are the women taking calls at their home. They are having we had so many voices of men in movies. We had Mr. Bachchan, he was a voice. The villain had a voice, Gabbar, and the woman would dance. In our shows, the vamp and the heroine have the voice and the men look good. So, guys, they could wear a sari, they could wake up, but those are those problems that they find relatability with. They find their escapism with. They want to see themselves well dressed, blingy saris, and I give them what they want. If someone needs escapism from cinema or television, it is their birthright to get their enjoyment from there. And I'm no one to question or stop it. I just revel and enjoy every kind of entertainment. If I'm making something for the masses, I make it for the masses. And if I make something for the classes, I make it for the classes. And I think I can do both. Why put me in a box?
No one's putting you in a box, like no one dare put you in a box.
I've been told so many times that actually I've been so often put in a box. I've been told that, I can't even tell you, like, lipstick under my burqa, I was questioned so much that, how would you pick it up? Did you pick it up because there were these sex scenes? I said there weren't really any sex scenes in the film. 11 studios said no to it. But then what would you like in it? I'm like, I'm a woman. I find any kind of assertiveness, and it was entertaining, it was fun. So why expect me to like a certain kind of entertainment?
So I introduced you as being the contradiction in terms. So I don't expect that. But the window of the screen is the window that our views today are formed by. It is one of the most powerful mediums, and you are the queen of this medium. You understand the responsibility that comes with this as well. Have you never been affected by a real life event or a horror that's gone on, or a good thing even, where you want to use the platform that you have created and worked for in a way that would change opinions, do you never feel the pressure of that or the responsibility of that?
But I do it in a way that it reaches the masses. So that, we have these very, very interesting but strong topics taken up by the classes and for the classes. So what really happens is the evolved are seeing evolved content, but the masses never get to see the evolved thought. So I try to see that I actually use an evolved thought, make it really entertaining so that it percolates.
Give me an example. Give me a real example.
I can give you 10 actually.
Okay.
Let me start. So my first one was I took out domestic violence and domestic rape in Kahani Ghar Ghar Ki, where the women stood against, because rape at home becomes a big problem, you know, people don't talk about it. I picked up the topic of a woman at 80 deciding to start her life again. Bar decided to become a fashion designer in Paris. I got panned by the classes, but the masses, I had so many women coming and telling me that finally my family is saying that even I can take, I have so many dreams which were crushed when I was young. We picked up in Bade Achhe Lagte Hain breast awareness, breast cancer awareness campaign where we had our heroine have a lump. And for 4 days we made it the most entertaining 4 episodes where you don't know what the result of the biopsy is and how fragile life is. But we made every family member, including the staff of their house, get checked up after that. So I try to do my bit, and I never encourage misogyny in my shows. And I always encourage sex.
So this bit about sex, now that you have the freedom to show it on the digital medium and you are loving it, right? I mean, to put it bluntly, Gandhi Bath is like tier 2 soft porn. I mean, it's
a lot of Gandhi Bath.
It's a lot of Gandhi Bath. How did you deduce that this is the digital only one, sex, sex, sex?
So there's a mom on the app, which is about mission on Mars, and there's a Gandhi Bath. But unfortunately, no one sees mom, and they all ask about Gandhi Bath. It was, when it launched till now, it just trended on IMDb more than Sacred Games, I think, at #1, which just goes to see how obsessed we are about sex.
You know,
but I have to say, every story in Gandhi Bath has been checked and rechecked that it does not promote sexual crime, does not promote misogyny. In fact, there was a story which was anti-rape, but they showed a lot of rape and we didn't put it on air. So I do my bit, but as far as sex, I have no problems personally with it. So why should I not show it?
The problem, I have no problems with sex either. We just had a sex robot session just before this. But the problem that I have, that a lot of the sex that we see on Indian television is gratuitous, it's aggressive. It doesn't need to be like that. Why can't it be relatable and yet beautiful and sensual and not sleazy?
So you know what? I actually believe that sex can be different for different people. Somebody likes a sweet soft. And I really think we should keep sex as content, can be like hardcore as long as it doesn't promote aggressiveness. That, my friend, I try to see doesn't happen. And that is a part of misogyny. So I never have any sexual content or even suggestion, no rape jokes, no jokes on women being forced. But as far as sex goes, I think any kind of sex, as long as you're getting it from the screen and not forcing yourself or even your own wife, is great.
You know, recently you said that one of the shows that really inspires you is a show like Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, right?
Yes, it does.
Which is very beautifully done, it's sensitively done. There is sex in it. There is sex in all the shows that we watch, right? Why can't someone like you produce stories like this, which would have an Indian vernacular setting?
We have done shows, and unfortunately you won't even know the names because a lot of people didn't watch them. So we did a show at 40, a woman having midlife crisis. We did it and no one watched it. And we did, on the app we've done, our first few shows have been about the same-sex relationship. Romeo and Juliet is Romeo and Juliet between two men, and in a small town. And we just did Mom, and we're doing Verdict. But every time I'm on a stage, I'm asked about Gandhi Bath. So it actually goes to show how obsessed we all are about sex. It's great, actually.
I'm going to quote you now from something. I wish sometimes I had the time to take 2 years to develop a single thought, a single story, to give it my best and create a true clutter breaker that I myself would love to watch. I have no such liberty. If you, after 25 years in this business, you, Ekta Kapoor, don't have the liberty to do this, then who does? Why can't you take the time?
That was a thought that came for that minute. I'm lying. I don't want that. I don't think I'll be able to do one thing for 2 years and be interested in it. I'm a Gemini. I get bored very fast. I need to be juggling many ships to actually. It's a different thought process. I'm lying actually there. I think so.
Okay, that's good that we know you are. You talked about juggling. Now you're a new mother.
Yeah.
What is the overriding emotion, love or guilt?
Guilt.
How are you managing to juggle full-time work and
I was
motherhood?
making a show which is going to come out with Karishma Kapoor. It's called Mentalhood. It's about the pressures other mothers put on mothers when they are mothers. So I've had so much advice in the last 6 months on how I should be a mother that I really, like, at the end of it realized that, it's not going to be easy listening to people. There are WhatsApp groups, the gluten-free khana, our mothers fed us samosas. So at this point I've realized, actually, I told my son, I had a conversation with a 7-month baby, and I told him, I said, listen, I'm learning with you. I won't be perfect, but there's nothing perfect in this world. And I'm going to tell him first that you don't have a father and this is life, and I'm not going to feed him a fairy tale. So, like, the guilt is there, but now I'm learning to deal with it and grapple with the fact that perfection is a mirage, and I'm not going to be one perfect mother.
You know what's so interesting watching your family with Jeetu ji, Shobna ji, you, Tushar. Tushar has a surrogate child.
Yes,
you have
I
a
do.
surrogate child. It's like this modern family of India, but yet everyone thinks you're like this conservative family. Is it dysfunctional, or is it this the new modern?
I think we're pretty dysfunctionally functional family, because I think dysfunctionality comes from the fact that it doesn't fit into the absolute norm of conservative typical families. But honestly, I don't think I have a problem with that. I mean, what really is functional is that we all love each other. We take out time for each other. We share parenting issues, and we find space in each other. And we may not fit into the most normal sense of a family, but we actually found each other after we both had kids. So I actually believe that, this pressure of being normal, typical. I'm not a Facebook picture. Our family is not a Facebook picture. But I think we pretty much
Or maybe
manage.
it is. Maybe this is modern India, right?
I'm hoping. I'm actually falling more and more in love with imperfection. And I'm trying to adopt it in a lot of my work, actually. And I realized that only when I myself started accepting my imperfections, that I started accepting my characters with imperfections. Like, one small thing I've started doing with my characters, even on TV, is that I make them either a part of an NGO, most of the women are working, and I make them have one trait which is an imperfection. Because again, we are making women who are working women sit on pedestals, which is again going to be a problem, because it's not about working, not working, it's about accepting flaws.
And who we actually
Exactly.
are. Now, you're involved in almost every aspect of production, of content making. And apparently you're one of the best narrators. Like, if you're going to an actress, you go there and you say, okay, fine, I have one of your old scripts here. I am an actress that you want, or let's say the audience is the actress that you want on board.
Yeah.
How would you narrate this scene? This is from Kahani Ghar Ghar,
कहानी घर घर की, that's it.
right?
पार्वती और तुम कृष्णा दोबारा मेरे बेइज्जती करके बहुत बड़ी गलती कर रही हो. ड्रामेटिक बैकग्राउंड म्यूजिक, कैमरा पैन्स, कृष्णा ड्रामेटिकली. पार्वती, मैं कोई फालतू की रिश्तेदार की तरह नहीं हूँ, ये स्पाइनली रिश्ता तुम्हारे. पार्वती जो okay then.
ये तुम्हारी.
And then I would have said the dialogues. I don't know these dialogues, but mostly in Khan of darang, darang, darang.
So if you had to do the dialogues of any dialogues you do remember of someone aise karo, how would you do it? Come on, let's hear. I've never heard you act.
So this happened with Silk, as in Vidya Balan. She was shocked to see me at the photo shoot. So she said, why are you here? I said, you're playing my favorite character. She's like, and she was shocked because, she again in 2010, 11, didn't really know that I could have another side too now with all. So I said, you know what? I want a picture, and they were pretty shocked. I said, all the three men hanging from three different parts of you, and you're biting your little finger. And she's like, why? I said, I want you to stand with like a woman who's neither a victim. These 3 men have not tortured you. You have decided to manipulate them. You are a survivor, not a victim, and you're reveling in your own sexuality. I said, India should for the first time see a woman who's not shy, who doesn't drop a pallu, but revels in her sexuality. So I actually posed with the 3 boys and I put my finger here and I bit it. And she was like, oh my God. And I said, I'm going to say to you, think I am the diva, channelize your inner sex appeal and bite your little finger.
I want to see that expression again. It was just too good.
And we have a picture, me and Vidya both doing. And we had a pose. And I said, this for me is going to be a woman who we never admired. We called an item girl. But this woman accepted her sexuality and took on a whole male-dominated film industry and brought them to their knees.
Brilliant. Okay, last question before we go. Is there romance in your life at the moment?
No, there is no romance in my life at the moment. I'm dating no one. Everyone.
Do you miss it? Do you want it? Are you available?
At this present moment, I've had a shitty last month, so no, I'm not available. But yeah, guys, we never know. Romance can come back in any one of our lives, and then we'll make another kasauti. Thank you so much.
Put your hands together for Ekta Kapoor.
Thank you very much, Ekta Kapoor and Koyal. Can I please invite Mr. Subro Banerjee, Senior General Manager Corporate Affairs of Diageo India, to please present Ms. Kapoor with a token of appreciation. Our next session